Hello friends, in the last video we have discussed regarding different data types available in Java, and we have demonstrated the same thing using numerous of examples. So the same thing shall be shared to you over Edmodo. So these were the different files we have seen so far. In this example, in this session we will talk about different operators we have in Java and also the control statements, and if time permits we will also talk about the loops in Java. So before starting with this concept, so I would like to explain you again simple aspects of the println statements. So as you can see, so I have got my main method and the class ready. So let's see how exactly we are supposed to understand the println statement. And so many of you get confused with the so many plus operators we are going to use in this particular println statement. So first of all, let me just use a simple println statement, sout followed by the tab shall expand into system.out.println. So I'll just print the first simple message, that is hello world, and let me try to run this. So shift F6 should be able to run that. Yes, okay. So in the output we have so it's taking okay, yeah, so we have got this hello world. So this is a very simple thing which every textbook will explain to you. So now let me just do some more modifications to this println statement with the concatenation operator, my dear friends. So the plus operator, what we are going to use within the println statement, most of the times it's going to be concatenation operator. So what it is? Concatenation operator. So to understand what exactly is this, we are going to use these different features of IDE. So my dear friends, I'll just go to system.out. So hold it right there. Try to use this kind of feature in either you're going to use your Eclipse or NetBeans or any other platform. So as we know, this is an object-oriented programming language, just like your C++, and this Java is filled with so many methods, classes and packages. You think of a task to be done using computer, Java has got a package for that. Inside the package it has got a class, and inside the class it has got a particular method which is going to do the task for you. So the only thing which we are going to learn, which we have to understand in Java, is we need to search for the methods, classes and packages which are going to do the tasks for us. So now in this example and also in the previous examples we have used println statement, but just once a while let's try to understand what is the function documentation available in Java for println statement. So println method. So okay, so this is very important. So now let's read what exactly it says. I'm trying to read this one. Okay, println string. So now I'll try to print a string. So now let's say what it is. So it says prints a string and then terminate the line. This method behaves as though it invokes print method and then the println method. Okay, so as you can see, when I have pressed this dot after this out, so this IDE is showing what all the things which I can do with this out instance. So we have got methods like print, it can print an object, print a string, print a boolean, character, array of characters, double, and so on. So all these print methods are going to print your content, and it's going to hold your cursor within the same line. And then if we are very obsessed with C language, then we have got the same printf statement, where the syntax of the printf statement in the C language included the first part included your control string and the second part included your variable list, right? So within the first set of double quotes we are going to write %d, percentages and all those control strings, followed by what is the respective value we need to give in form of variables. So control string comma variable list, or else format specifiers comma variable list. Okay, so if we still want to use that kind of formatting, then printf is also available. Coming to println, so it says it can print a dummy line, a null line, that's also possible. Okay, so it can print an object, it can print a string, it can print one boolean, one char, one double, float x, int x, and so on, toString and all those things. Yes, of course. So wait, notify and all those things, we should try to understand that when we get into the multi-threading. Okay, so these are all the things which we can do in order to print a particular variable or a particular object. So all these things are available for, all these methods are available for printing. Okay, so now let's try to explain, let's try to understand how exactly we can use that one. Okay, print ln. So now let me just write the same hello world like this, hello plus world. So now let's try to notice if we get any difference in the line number 14 and line number 15's output. So now let me run this particular code. So now everything is same. Yeah, of course. So we have a blank space at the very beginning, so let me eliminate that one also. So now as we can see, hardly there is any change. There is no change at all. Then what is this plus doing here? What is this plus? So as I have commented here, this plus is called as a concatenation operator, my dear friends. This is not the plus we have been using in the arithmetic expression as the binary operator. No, that is not the thing. So we have got operator when used in different forms will behave in different ways. So one way to understand is to take this in a polymorphic way. So it may look like that it's going to add, but since it is being stuffed inside two strings, with two strings, that is hello and world, it has to act as what? A concatenation operator. To be very specific, you know, this after this hello, see, I want you to look at this particular line here. After printing a hello and then followed by a blank space, because that's what there within this set of double quotes, after printing hello and a blank space, it's going to join this world with that hello and blank space. That's why there is no difference between this hello world and this hello world. So this plus within the println, it's going to act as concatenation operator. That is, using that you can join any two strings. For example, in this extension, I would like to use one integer variable. So now let's say I have got I equals to 30. So suppose now I want to print the value of I as 30. So now I want to be the output of this output to be value of I is equals to 30. So what shall I write? So system.out.println value of I is. So this is the message which I want to display. So after this I is, I want the value of I to be displayed. So now I'm going to use this in this way. System.out.println value of I is followed by plus I. So how should I understand this one? So we can see and notice that value of I is what I have highlighted here. This is a string, okay, and then I'm trying to concatenate this string with an integer variable. So is this kind of println available in Java? So now let me see, system.out.println. So nowhere it specifies that there is you can use the combination of one string and one integer, but still this is working. So how does it work? The concept is very simple, my dear friends. The concept says anything joined with the string becomes one complete string. I mean to say that, so this is one string and this is one variable. Now if you want println to work, then value of I is, when it is concatenated with I, that is the value 30, the value of I is 30 becomes one complete string, and then it is passed to println for processing. So that's how it's going to work. So value of I is, it's a message, and then I is the variable value. Now println is capable of printing one string at a time. Now this is one string, but when this one string is concatenated, this plus, what this plus is doing here? It is concatenating, joining. It is concatenating, it is joining the value of I is with this variable value 30. When you join this value of I is with 30, the resultant is itself a bigger string which contains value of I is 30. Hence, system.out.println, this println method can print this entire message as excuse me, value of I is 30. So now suppose let me try to display one more float variable. Float f equals to 25.5. If you have gone through my previous classes, then it should be 25.5f, because every value, every fractional value in Java is treated as a double value, right? So if you don't want to lose the precision, so Java corrects this while you're typing. So this is a float, so just to ensure, so automatically. So I have been telling from the last class that it is very, very important to understand this balloons and this flags. This can very well fine-tune your coding skills, my dear friends. Okay, so it says required float, but found is double. Required float means in the left hand side you have got f is of type float. In the right hand side, the Java virtual machine is trying to get a float value, but by default every fractional value is a double. So 25.5 is not a float, it is a double value. But when you suffix this with this f, then this 25.5f becomes a float value. So now I want to print the value of I is 30 and value of f is 25.5. So how am I going to design my system.out.println method? So value of, okay, so small mistake, value of I is 30. Now I want the continuation of this particular sentence. The value of I is 30 and so I have done a mistake there, so I'll come back and correct it. I am doing this this is an intentional mistake I am doing here. Value of I is 30 and the value of f is 25.5. so now what does it say? So we have not used a concatenation operator here, because till here the println statement is correct, that is value of I is 30 will be printed, and then this message needs to be appended or added or joined or concatenated with this particular message. So what do we have? We have got a plus operator. So this plus is going to join value of I is one string, that string is joined or concatenated with 30, so this entire thing becomes one string, followed by and the value of f is, now this becomes one more string, and now the value of I is 30 and the value of f is one string, and to this string the value 25.5 is appended. So now let me just run this one. So now we'll get the value of I is 30. So as you can notice, there is no space between 30 and right? Okay, so I have got a blank space here. So now let me rerun this particular code. So now it says value of I is 30 and the value of f is 25.5. So this is the basic example of how this concatenation operator is used in Java. So we also have this printf statement, this legacy printf statements. We are being obsessed since the usage of the Java C language, right? System dot out dot print f. So the printf statement here in Java has got the same syntax what we find in C. That means we need to write our control strings first, comma, the variable list. Control strings are, that is the same value. So now let me just write, okay, value of I. In the place of I want the value of I is %d, and the value of f is %f, comma. What is the first %d? First control string we have used here, that is %d. So what is the value to be replaced in place of %d? That is I, comma. The second control string what we find in this statement is %f, and the suitable float value what we have in our program declared very correctly is f, followed by the semicolon should do the job. Okay, fine. So if we don't have these red lines, don't have any balloons, then it's time to be happy that IDE accepts our code. So now let me run this code again. Yes, printf, as you know, right? So this printf in C language, every time we want the cursor to be in the next line, so we have always appended that with, okay, so we have got a small boo-boo here. Okay, fine. Printf, so let's check whether it's going to accept the /n. Yes, very correct, it's accepting the /n. So by default, as we have been learning since C, it simply prints 6 values after the decimal, right? So this is the simple example of how we will be using this println statement throughout this Java course. Okay, so now I hope you have understood this, my dear friends. You have to keep practicing. Okay, so don't be afraid of these red lines. So as I've been telling in the class also, it's just a red line. It will not burn out your computer, it's not burn out your laptop or your mobile. So don't be afraid of these red lines. So these red lines, okay, these red lines are going to teach you coding, right? Okay, do mistakes, do mandatory errors, try to understand why you have got them. So now I got a blank, I got after this slash, I don't have /n or /b or /a. Why? So now let's try to understand this. What does this balloon say? Unclosed string literals. So we know the escape sequences we have learned in C language, right? So a simple n is going to print the n, but to give a new meaning to that n, that is escape the meaning of n and give a new meaning, so this is /n. So this comes under the heading of escape sequences. If you go through the Dennis Ritchie, you will definitely understand what exactly is that. Okay, so this is very late concept to be delivered here. Yes, but of course that's how your Java is going to work. Fine. Okay, so now let me just start with the operators. Okay, so let me start with basic math. So the Java, just like your C++, it's going to include all the basic operators we have seen. So here we have got addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, and then unary operators. So all these things are going to print whatever is the value, followed by, of course, this. So we have got this double, the floating point arithmetic. So here we have got integer arithmetic, here we have got floating point arithmetic. So let's see the output. Okay, so this is the basic, so all the arithmetics operators we have seen in the C and C++ works here too. So we will not spend a lot of time in the operators. Okay, so whatever basic operators we are going to use, those are going to work for us. Okay, very fine. So what have we here? So yeah, so we have not used Boolean data type in the past, that means in C and C++. So let's execute this one. So it says a equals to true. So my dear friends, so we will get a number of ready samples in our internet or YouTube. Okay, you can just go through this one. So now let's try to analyze what it is. Okay, so we have got how many variables here? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So 7 variables here. Okay, so a equals to true. So why do we have a equals to true? We have got a equals to true because of the line number 20. It says a equals to concatenated with a. So we have spent approximately more than 10 minutes in understanding how does your println works in this session, right? So at this point you should not be having any doubt on how we got this message. In the last class we have dealt the data types, right? So boolean a equals to true, b equals to false. So boolean is a data type which can hold that true and false, false and true within the variables, right? Okay, so then a equals to true, b equals to false, so no issues with that. And then we have got system.out.println a or b. Okay, so what kind of an or is this one? So this pipe is used with two different operators basically. Okay, so then bitwise or it can be, and it can be logical or. Okay, so bitwise or, only one, that's bitwise or. If you are using this two pipes, two ors, that becomes a relative expression, relative operators, maybe we will see in future classes. So c is equals to a or b. So now a or b, true or false. So true or false is true, that's or operator is true, right? Okay, the boolean d equals to a and b. So if you want AND operator to be resulting in true conditions, so now we know that both operands needs to be true, right? So but b is false, so d, the value of d is false. Okay, so like this we have got other operators, so I hope you will go through them. Okay, so not wasting much of my time here, so I'll just go through the next one. So this is increment and decrement operators. Yes, very important one. So we use this most probably in the looping statements, right? So a equals to 1, b equals to 2, int c, int d, c equals to plus b. So this is prefix increment operator, right? So the value of b is 2. So increment the value of b, modify the value of b, and then give it to c, right? So plus b is, so here b value becomes 3 and that 3 is given to c. So c becomes 3 and b is also 3. Now a plus plus, so this is postfix a, postfix increment operator. So we give the value of a to d, so d becomes 1. So and then a is incremented, so a becomes 2, right? So a becomes 2. So here so let's have a comment here. So the value of b after the execution of 17, the value of b equals to 3, and then value of c is equals to 3, and then at the end of this line number 18, so the value of a equals to 2 and the value of d equals to 1, right? So the d gets the value before this increment operation because this is postfix increment, so we all know that, right? And now here c gets incremented. So at this point, by the time we reach line number 19, what's the updated value of c? C was 3 before 19, so now c gets incremented, so now c should be 4, right? So the value of a is 2, and then value of b is 3, and then value of c equals to 4, and then value of d equals to 1. So now let's run this particular file. So now it is the value of a is equals to 2, the value of b is equals to 3, value of c equals to 4, and then of course the value of d equals to 1. So this is a simple example, so just to show you the increment and decrement operators are also the same what we have seen so far. So we have got the modulus operator. Yes, modulus operator gives you the remainder after the division. It divides the numerator by denominator and then it gives you the remainder out of it, right? Okay, fine. So what does this here we have got int x equals to 42, y is equals to 42.5. So x mod 10, x modulo 10, what is x? X is 42, 42 modulo 10 is 2, and then what is y modulo 10? Y is 42.5, 42.25, y modulo 10 should be 2.25. Okay, so now let's run this one. In the past we have not seen Very good examples of modulus operation with the fractional numbers in C and C++, but yes, Java can do that. So the sum modulus operator is the same thing what we have seen so far, and then operator equals to, so now let's see what does this do. So here a equals to 1, b equals to 2, c equals to 3. Oh yeah, this is a shorthand notation, right? So this is nothing but a equals to a plus 5. So instead of writing a equals to a plus 5, we have got the shorthand notation, that is a plus equals to 5. Very similarly here, this is nothing but b equals to b into 4, and then this is what, this is nothing but c equals to c equals to c plus a into b, right? Okay, so now this is c equals to c modulo 6, right? Okay, so now let's run this particular code. So now let's try to decode it one by one. So where we have got this first println statement. First println statement is a is equals to 6. So now let's try to understand how we got a equals to 6. So initially the value of a was 1. 1 plus 5 equals to 6. So equals to 6. Initially the value of b is equals to 2. So 2 into 4 is 8. So that's why b is equals to 8. And then value of c. What is the value of c? The value of c is 3. The value of c is, okay, sorry, okay, value of c equals to, where is this? The value of c is at this point, so now let's calculate it here. Here the value of c equals to 3. So 3 plus a into b. What is a? What did we get here? The value of a equals to 1 plus 5. We have got 6 here, and then here we have got b into 4. B into 4 we got 8. So 2 into 4 we have got 8. And here, so now let's see what exactly is this. C equals to c plus a into b. So as per our precedence operator, a into b should happen first. So 6 8s are 48. It is 48 plus, what's the value of c? C is 3. So 3 plus 48 equals to 51. And then c modulo 6. What is c modulo 6? What is the value of c? C is 51 modulo 6. So 6 8s are 48. The remainder is value of 3. So when we run this particular code, yes, of course, the value of c equals to 3. So just to explain this operator equals to, the shorthand notation, and also this basic modulus operation, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the next example. Okay, I'm not trying to say the output. Where did I get this code? Okay, fine. Ternary operator, yes, a simple if-else statement can be turned into a ternary statement. Okay, so now let's see how this one works. Okay, this is very easy. These statements are very easy, but it looks a little complicated because it becomes it is lengthy. Okay, so here the value of I and k are two integer variables. I gets the value 10, so the value of I is 10. K equals to I greater than 0 question mark minus I colon plus I, or just an I. So how does this work? Ternary operator, we know that this is the expression. When this expression gets evaluated, if this expression is true, so I repeat it, if this expression is true, so of course this is a relational operator. When the relational expression, if this expression is true, the first part is the answer. If that's not true, if that is false, then the second part is the answer. So now what's going on here? The value of I is 10. Is your 10 less than 0? It is very false. So if it is so, then I is assigned to k. So the value of k at the end of this line should be 10. Else it would have been minus 10, right? Okay. K equals to 10. System.out println the absolute value of so and so. So it is print, so cursor will be in the same line. I is k, so the absolute value of I is 10 itself, right? Okay, so that will be the output of first line. So now we have got another value of I in line number 18. I is equals to minus 10. Now the same expression is repeated. So this program is trying to calculate the absolute value of this variable I. So what is the value of I? The value of I is 10. Is your 10, sorry, as value of I is minus 10, so it's updated here, right? So value of I is minus 10. So this is your minus 10 less than 0. Yes, minus 10 is really less than 0. Then do this and assign it to k. Minus 10, so the value of I is minus 10. Minus of minus 10 becomes plus 10. Thus that plus 10 is assigned to k. So the absolute value of I is once again 10. So we should have the same output here. So the absolute value of 10 is 10. Absolute value of minus 10 is also 10. So once again, before concluding this one, so what is this? This is the ternary operator. This is the syntax of ternary operator, where we have got an expression at the very beginning, right? So this is an expression here. So if this expression is true, it's going to check, is this expression I less than 0 is true? If it is true, is it true? Yes. If it is true, your first part is the answer. This colon separates the true block and the false block. Okay, so this is the true block, and then followed by the colon, and then we have got the false block. If that expression is false, this statement after the colon is executed. If that's true, then this part is executed. Okay, so this is the simple example of ternary operator. So once again, before going to the next program, let's see the output. The absolute value of 10 is 10, and absolute value of minus 10 is also 10. So I hope you have seen all the examples within the operators. And then what do we have here? Control statements. Okay, so now let's look at few control statements. So it's a big examples. We have got numerous examples in the Herbert Skill textbook. So that's a complete reference in Java. That's way more than anything we need at the very beginning stage. Okay, so now we are at the if-else statement, if-else condition. So why do we use if-else? We are going to use if-else when we know that an expression can result in more than one output. Okay, so this example is of cascaded if-else statement, right? Okay, so let me just check again if I have missed it. No. Okay, so we all know how if-else works, right? So after learning C++, let me not just go back to the traditional method of starting with this is if, this is else. So now let's start with the cascading if-else statement. So what is this cascading if-else statement? It is used when we have got more than two outputs. So if we are interested in an expression and that expression has got, that concept has got more than two outputs, then we go for this cascade if-else statement. For example, while awarding the marks, so based upon your marks, your class is awarded, whether it is third class, second class, first class with distinction, and so on. Suppose I have got the average value suppose average equals to 85. So we know that for distinction it is greater than or equals to 70, but this average may fall under any category, right? So if it is greater than 70, then it is FCD, right? So if it is greater than 70, then we call it as FCD, or else if it is greater than or equals to 60 and lesser than or equals to 69, then it is first class. Okay, and then so on, right? Okay, so based upon the value of an average, so we have got multiple outputs, more than two outputs. If it is less than 40, so it's fail. If it is between 40 and 59, then it is third class. If it is 59 to 60, it is second class, and then 60 to 69, it is first class, and then above that is FCD. So this is a simple example of how we can come across more than two outputs, right? Very similarly, So here we have an example to specify what kind of a season we are having. Either we are having winter, spring, summer, or autumn, okay, or else our input is itself wrong, something like that. Okay, now the variable month is having the value 4. Okay, so now I have got the string. So string, string is another data type we have in Java, right? A very important one. You know, in the first class we discussed in detail why we need to write string args, right? So if you haven't watched that video, please go through that and leave comments if you have got any doubts. So now here int month equals to 4, the string season. So now if month is equal to 12, or month equal to 1, or month equal to 2, so what is winter? According to this concept, winter is either it is December, January, or February. So that's what these values suggest, right? So now the value of month is actually 4. Okay, so if it is 4, is this condition true? False. 4 is not equal to true or 12. 4 is not equal to 1. 4 is not equal to 2. So this is an OR expression, right? So any one needs to be true for the entire expression to be true, right? So but all of them are false, so this entire condition is false. We are going to skip this statement and then we are going to check it again. Now the next condition is to check it for spring, right? Okay, spring, that is March, April, and May. So now what is the value of month here? Month is equals to 4. Now is your month 4 equals to 3? False. Or is your month 4 equals to 4? Yes, very yes. So now here condition is true. Now season gets the value spring. Once this condition is true, everything else is skipped, right, including the default setting. Now the April is in the season. So what is the season string? So the season got the value spring. So the April is in the spring season, right? Okay, so now we have got the output as we are going to April is in the spring, right? April is in the spring. Fine. Okay, so now suppose instead of having the value, so now let me cross the number of months. So let me have, instead of 4, let me have 14. So now it should skip all these conditions, right? And it should come to this default condition. So what's the value of month? Month equals to 14. Is it 14 equals to 12? No. 14 equals to 1? No. 14 equals to 2? No. So this condition, so this is skipped. Is it 14 equal to 3? No. 14 equals to 4? No. 14 equals to 5? No. So this is also skipped. Is it 14 equals to 6, 7, and 8? No. That is also skipped. Is it 14 equals to 9, 10, 11? This is also skipped. So when nothing matches, so this is cascading if else statement, right? So when nothing matches, then the controller automatically jumps to the else part. So when nothing matches, then it means that user has not given a valid value to the month variable, right? So this is a bogus month, or else we can change this message to invalid month value, right? Instead of calling it as a bogus month. April is in the invalid month value, right? Okay, April. Fine. So this is the simple example of how we can use if else statement, right? Okay, so now let's go to the sample switch. So switch. Okay, so I have used for within the switch. So I don't know why I have made this complicated. Okay. I might not have explained for loop here in the Java, but I hope everyone can understand the for loop. So now prematurely I'll be explaining this for loop with the switch, right? Okay, fine. So public static void main. So we have come across I have dedicated an entire session to understand to make you understand why we need to write public static void main, right? I hope you will go through that, and we have also understood, right, why we need to write string args, because the concept says, you know, every program needs some or other input, right? So the command line arguments can be given using the string args. All the command line arguments will be captured by this particular args array. Okay, fine. int I equals to 0, so this is the initialization. Is your I less than 6? Very true. I plus plus. So for loop, right? This happens during the very first run of the for. Okay, this is initialization. That's what it says. Initialize for the first time. 0. Is your 0 less than 6? Yes, true. 0 is less than 6. Switch to case where I value is 0. This is how we are going to write and we are going to understand. So switch is going to include so many cases, and it will be having a default. So yes, of course, this is an alternative to our cascade if else statement. So let's see how this one is going to work. Right now the value of I is 0 because we have initialized I to 0, so the value of I is 0. We are going to switch to case 0 if there is a case 0, or else go to default. That's how the switch of value, or else an integer value, or else an expression which results an integer value. Fine. Okay, switch off 0. So do we have a case 0? Yes, we have a case 0 here. So automatically the control switches to case 0. In this scenario, the case 0 is the first case. Fine. System.out.println the value of I is 0. So the I is 0 is printed here, and then we have got a break. So we do understand the need of the break, right? So what switch does, switch directly switches to the case which matches this value, but after switching to the case, it doesn't know how to skip the remaining cases, right? So for that we need to include the break statement. What this break is going to do, once this statement is executed, println statement is executed, break is going to take your control out of the switch statement, and we are going to come back here in this line. Break takes you here, right? Break takes you here. Okay, fine. So now we have executed the first case, we have braked, so I am here. So this is the end of for loop, if you are not mistaken, right? Okay, so now no, my dear friends, for loop we have not included any braces, right? So the switch can be treated as one statement. This entire switch can be treated as one statement, so that's the only statement within the for loop, so we don't need to have any braces after for. Okay, fine. Automatically after the first case, so control comes once again, come back here. While coming back, it increments the value of I. Right now initially the value of I was 0, now I gets incremented to 1, right? Okay, so now 1. Is your 1 less than 6? True, very true. Switch to case 1. Do we have case 1? Yes. See, automatically it skipped the case 0, it came to case 1. Now it prints I is 1, and then it breaks. After printing I is 1, it breaks. When it breaks, you come here. So this is the statement within the for loop. While going back, you increment the value of I. While I becomes 2, 2 less than 6, true, very true. Switch to case 2. Always read it like this, switch to case 2. So skip case 0, skip case 1, come directly to case 2, print I is 2, break. So when you break, you come out of this switch, go back, iterate, increment I becomes 3. Is your 3 less than 6? Very true. Case 3, so switch to case 3. Do we have a case 3? Yes. Switch case 0, skip case 1, skip case 2, skip case 3. So here we have got println I is 3. After printing I is 3, it breaks. When you break, you directly come here, go back. While going back, you increment the value of I, because that's how your for loop works, right? So I value is 4. Switch to case 4. Do we have a case 4? Case 0, case 1, case 2, case 3. Case 4 is not there. So for any value within the switch, which doesn't have a case, it gets to go to default statement. So here we are going to get I is greater than 3. So the expected output of this particular program is I is 0, I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, and for remaining I is equals to 4, I is equals to 5, we should get I is greater than 3. So now let's check this output here. I0, 1, 2, 3, and for 4 and 5 we get the value I is greater than 3 and I is greater than 3. So this is the simple case of switch. In the next example, let's see what happens if we don't include the break. So we have got the no break example. So there are multiple ways of understanding this no break. So what does this mean? So for multiple cases, if you want to have same output, then you can include skipping the break. So now let's see how it works. For int I equals to 0, int I equals to 0, I is less than 12, I plus plus. So the value of I is 0. Okay, 0 less than 12. So let me keep track of the value of I is equals to 0. Okay, fine. I is equals to 0. 0 less than 12, true. Yes, switch to case 0. So now I'm going to go to case 0, but I don't have anything. There are null statements here, so we have got nothing. So after coming to case 0, switch doesn't know how to skip case 1, case 2, case 3, case 4, and so on. So whatever it gets in the sequence, it keeps on executing. It goes to case 2, case 2 is also empty, case 3 is also empty, but for the case 4 we have got some statements. It says I is less than 5. So for all the values of I gets from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the common output will be I is less than 5, because the switch knows to which case it needs to jump to, but after executing that case it doesn't know how to skip the remaining cases in the sequence, right? So here we have included the break statement. So now after printing I is less than 5 for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it breaks. Similarly for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 it displays 5 is less than 10, and so on. For 11 and 12, for 10 and 11, for 10 and 11 it displays I is 10 or more. So 5 times we are going to get I is less than 5, 5 times we are going to get I is less than 10, and then for I value 10 and 11 we are going to get I is less than 10 or more. I hope you have understood the simple control statements in Java. So in this class, in this session, we have seen the operators. Basically we started with the println. So we saw how println is to be used in Java. It's very easy. So you need to learn how to play with this concatenation operator. Okay, and then I showed you how to use different operators, very similar to C and C++. We have got so many operators carried out into the Java. And then we have control statements. Okay, in the next example we have loops, and then we have got variables, a very important concept. So here we need to understand the scope and lifetime of a variable, and arrays. Yes, arrays we have. Okay, so the loops and variables will be dealt in the next class. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, don't hesitate to subscribe, like this video. Hopefully I'll get more views in the next video. Thank you. Keep coding.